What's up, everybody? Jersey here from windowcleaner.com. I'm just kidding with you. It's SteveO's here. He wants me to do the intro this week because he's so amazing at intros, but I just thought it was funny.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for handling that. That was a good intro. I mean, compared to mine, that was good.
If you guys don't know who SteveO is, SteveO the window cleaner. If you're here, make sure to follow. If you are just stumble across this, of course you're probably already followed. But SteveO is a rep for windowcleaner.com. So if you need any type of supplies, please call him at
970-599-1437.
Boom.
Boom. Boom. Hey, that was good. That was very good.
Great.
Hey, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, Johnny Ringo is wondering who you are.
My name is Johnny Knoxville. Actually, I know SteveO for a while, and
yep, that's how it works out.
hanging out
now,
with
Johnny
SteveO.
Ringo, what does that come from? Just a random, just far out thought for a second. Is Johnny Ringo like a Johnny Depp movie character? Or am I just totally
sort of, because Ringo was a lizard that Johnny Depp was in a movie.
That's okay. There you go. That's right. Yep. That was a movie a while ago. Well, we're off to a great start here. Anyway, we have not been here for, since the beginning of August. We went to the convention, and then Josh was taking some time off, and it was a lot coming back from the convention and jumping on Monday night. So we took last week. And then we're going to have this week. And then next week is Labor Day, so we won't be on, of course. And then we are gone that other Monday. So it will once again be about like 3 Mondays until the next one. So we are sorry. But as you all know, fall gets crazy, and it's just how it's going. So
by the way, we're going to be like hanging out at Alex's like mansion.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll just, pull an old school nation where we'll all sit in front of the camera and have a beverage and talk shop.
That would be cool. Well, maybe so. But we are talking about nosy customers suck. That's because I had a nosy customer who today, after, let's see, this is the 4th time I've used water-fed pole on their house. And then he comes up to me at the end, he goes, so why aren't you squeegeeing off the water? I was just like, I have used this how many times at your house? It amazes me. I had a customer like that when I was with Jim too. After 5 years, she came out and she's like, "You're not using the ladders?" I was like, "We have never used the ladders at your house. You have 40 feet high windows. If you're never doing," and then she has the perfect house for water fed pole as well. But yeah. So comment if you have noy, I can't even say.
You couldn't spell it either. So hey.
Yeah. Nosy customers. That's right.
What's super weird though, like, would you go into like a mechanic shop and be like, "Why are you using Snap-on tools? Aren't you going to use like Craftsman?" I don't know, another tool brand. Nobody would do that. So it's weird why they would ask us.
Exactly. Yeah. And then they always have something to say about the work that you're doing. So, well, I can see our comments here are crazy on a Tuesday night. I don't know if we'll have as many people. Oh, we do have 29 people. So if you're here, if you can.
And comment so we know you're here, so I can say what's up to you. Like saying hello to Squeegee Puller. Who was first? Damien, what's going on? Of course, Damien's here. The Windows guy, the window guy, the best smelling fella in the industry. Debbie Wiley, what's up? Glass Monkey. There's a whole bunch of you. Lewis, what's going on? And of course, Johnny Ringo, who doesn't know who I am. McRae, what's going on to you? If you're here, say what's up, and it would be great to just, see who's here.
Yeah, just know you're here. See, fall is 3 weeks away, so busy time comes up. When do you guys usually all see the fall rush happen as far as scheduling picks up and all that? How much pot did SteveO smoke before this video? None. Yeah, crazy psycho.
SteveO, if he didn't do this in the intro, but he has been working cleaning glass since like last week, basically, because you worked all weekend.
Well, I worked on Sunday, Monday, and then today, but it was just 3 agonizing days. That's why we didn't come on last night, was because I was still at the job, and I was just like, there's just no way. So I was just exhausted. Just
Yeah.
no way it can happen.
What's up to Katie, by the way? Katie is here. And it's Kev Dog has a killer question for you, Mr. Steven. He said, what is your daily revenue goal as a one-man crew?
I'm really happy with Windows, really anywhere in like the $600 to $800 range. If I hit 1,000, that's really nice. But like I had some days with commercial where it would be up to 1,400, but that was a very good price day, I would have to say. So I'm very happy, like in that range for myself as a one-man crew. What would you say?
Man, a one-man. I've done one job as a one-man crew. Everything else is multiple guys, unless it was route, and that just doesn't count.
Man, lucky you. I've spent a lot of days on my own cleaning windows. A lot.
I am like too loud up here, so that would do me harm.
Really?
Yes. I have to, like, if you notice when we hang out, I don't ever just sit there quietly. I'm talking the whole time.
Is that just how your brain goes? Do you feel like you have to talk, or do you just it's just natural to talk? You feel like you have to talk.
Okay. I do. In my office, like I literally have the Alexa's playing while I'm on the phone, answering texts and doing chat at the same time. Like there has to be noise.
Oh wow. I love some silence. Some silence is super, super nice. Super, super nice. I'm a solo man company, and I just quit my job to go full time. Next week is the week, 3 days, and I have $1,800 booked. So, what would you do for a single person in a week? What would you like to see out of a one man crew? You got a storefront guy, I remember, right? What would he do? You think in like a week on average?
Man, I am really happy on storefronts at being about 65 an hour. And that includes drive time. Everybody always says like production time, like I do 120. Yeah, but I put drive time. Like I want to shrink my things up.
Yeah.
But I really do like the one-man crew at 600. If you could do that continually and you're not killing yourself, but you're making crazy good money, I think that's really, really good.
Yeah. Debbie asks, so how long have you done this? We bought this business in June. Josh, how long have you done this?
I'm 16 years in.
And I've done this since 2008. So something around there too, 14 years. So yeah, bought this business in June. Debbie, is this your first time in the window cleaning business? I guess I would ask that. Wavy's Life, anytime a customer hasn't paid, specifically residential. If so, do you just walk off and take the L, or is that what a contract is in play for? Walk off and take the L. Here's the thing. I don't know how you are about this, but I've actually never been one that I'm like mandatory collect it right then and there.
Yeah.
I always, because like it's so big these days to take an email address and send an online invoice and just put a net 15 and have them pay that way. And there is a lot of customers who don't always make it that net 15. I just don't stress it until it's about like 2 weeks overdue, and I never have issues. But I did just have a customer I had to call today for a commercial customer where they are 16 weeks overdue on one and 8 on another. But we've been going back and forth on email. QuickBooks shows that, it's not delivering, but they actually got it. Then they're sending it off to their corporate, and the corporate hasn't paid it. So there is things like that where you got to track it down. But I would say that not every customer is going to pay you right at the end of the job. You shouldn't have to follow up. That's where something like QuickBooks or invoicing should come into play, because also with something like QuickBooks, you can remind the customer like by a simple button that sends them something through QuickBooks to remind them. So that's an easier way to do it. So what I've always done is like once I see that they're at that day where it's due and I don't have it yet, I always send them a reminder, and I almost always get that payment either that day online or a few days later in the mail.
Yeah. I am complete opposite. We did not leave a property without getting paid, like ever on residential, ever.
Really?
So our spiel when we first get to a job was I always stuff an envelope, we called it, but it was like, hey, here's like a little flyer on gutter cleaning or whatever's going on else on top of it, plus the invoice, plus our plastic gift cards, whatever else we're putting in there. We would put our little window cleaning in there, and we'd be able to pull it out. And a satisfaction form was the other thing. But we'd say at the end, there's a satisfaction form in there. There's a spot to put notes. If you put notes in there you don't want me to read, just go ahead and lick the envelope and seal it up with the payment. And I won't read it. It's just for the office. But we will collect payment after this is done. If you don't want to pay by check, that's cool. We can accept a credit card too. And every single time when they left, we had it. It was maybe once a year where somebody was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like my checkbook is out. Like I had whatever they say. You know, there's a bunch of excuses every now and then." And we'll literally be like, "Okay, cool. We'll call you in like an hour," and have the office call them. The only time we gotten stiffed is on commercial, and it was the biggest times we got stiffs were like really, really good customers that just.
Oh,
I
really?
had one customer that I would literally bring new people in to like talk to her. I'd be like, "What's up? Like this dude's new. I just want to say hi." And she'd be like, "How the F are you?" Like she just was like super cool, and she'd be talking about things, and we'd just kind of introduce her, and that would be everything. We were like super tight. And then one day, like I just noticed she hadn't paid in a while, and one of my cleaners that was out there, the guy who was doing her route, he's like, "Hey, this store is empty," and I'm like, "Empty? They've been around for like years. How's it empty?" And it was literally like right up the street from where our shop was. So I just drove up there after he had left and looked in it. Sure enough, the windows were empty. So I called and I was like, "Hey, like, is everything okay? Did you guys move?" Never heard back from her ever again. She just
Wow.
bounced out. And it wasn't that big. It was like at that point, because we kind of let her go a little bit longer than we should have, it was probably like $1,500. It wasn't a lot, but it was
Yeah.
enough to be like, wow, okay.
Yeah. I do
Cool.
agree. It sucks to track down payment. That's what gets old. Like if you have a customer, we've had this sometimes with like storefront or mostly storefront, where you do the job and then like, every other invoice you're having to remind them like 3 to 4 times. You should not have to do that. That they have, how many other bills do people have that they have to pay every single month that they're used to paying? This is just another one they can put an easy reminder for.
It's a click. If you're running credit cards, it's literally like your card is sometimes saved. And that I never, my big thing is I never want to pay somebody to collect money we've already paid text to clean. Like I've already paid my labor out. Why am I paying more labor for somebody to call and be like, "Hey, could you please pay us?" Like that's just literally unwanted
I hear
labor,
you.
I guess.
I don't know. I guess I have good customers. And then I always think too, it's like the one-offs, those are the people that I do like to collect like right away. But I do have one-offs too, where I'll invoice them because a lot of them like credit card, and I don't carry anything that I could like do it right then and there. And then I'm like, oh, it's safe online, and it's good that way, and sell it that way. And they always go for it.
Yeah.
So.
One other thing back to that question is it costs you so much more to chase down missed payments than like there's lawyer fees. And if you're not spending lawyer fees, how many hours are you in court for them to reschedule 30 times? And it's literally not worth your time. When it's all said and done, if you win and they pay, because even when the courts say, "Yep, you owe this money," like unless you're putting an actual lien on the house, and then you got to wait for it to sell, and then you have to go into like litigation on that side of it, like you're negative money just to collect your money. And if it's a FU kind of thing, like somebody really, really pisses you off, chase them. But I have a lawyer or had a lawyer in my last state that was on my side for a couple people where they wanted to play like, "Whoa, go, blah." I'm like, "Cool, lawyer letter, like send it out. Best $75 you could get."
Yeah. Yeah. I've never had to do that with any company I've been with or any customer, but we did have a customer, I won't go into like details, where it was a construction clean and they agreed to a certain amount. It was a very large amount. And they paid by building. And then all of a sudden though, it started becoming like they weren't paying for building C, and they weren't paying for building D, and they weren't paying for building E. We completed the project and boom, still no payment. And so literally had to go to the bank with that cleaning company when they got the check from the other company that hired them to make sure that right then and there, the bank gave us a check for the amount that they owed us straight out of that check. And that was the weirdest it ever got.
I had a snow customer one time, so we did snow removal too, and it was just giant. It was like literally like 2 city blocks worth of just like condos or apartments or whatever they were. And we've done this was our second or third year, and they just didn't pay. Like they didn't pay a whole month's worth. And in snow, in a busy month, it's literally like $30,000 you could be owed, and that's what we were. Is like $32,000 we were owed by this company, and they just weren't paying and weren't paying. We're like, "Listen, like you're not keeping up with your normal payments because we're supposed to do this rotating payment thing." And they're like, "Well, we just had a couple snows where well, we weren't really happy with what was done. I was like, well, nobody said anything to me. And they're like, yeah, but if we're not happy, we have the right to not pay. And I'm like, okay, well, why would I keep doing service for you? So I literally called and called and called, and they kind of cold after that call. They never returned any of my calls, and I emailed. So I found the board. It was board of the presidents of the company. And I shot them an email and I tagged, I put a bunch of carbon copies of all these other people. And they were just people I found online. Like, the guy with the picture that's like this on the site, that was who I got his email. And I said, hey, I know you guys are, outstanding company, but I have not been able to collect payment. We are owed this money. We're still doing service there. Nobody's answering my calls. I've been owed this money. And all of a sudden this lady called, who was the assistant to the president, called, and she's like, what's your address? I'm personally sending you your check right now, and I'm going to send it in UPS overnight or DHL overnight or something. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
So that was it. That was all it took. And then everything was paid on time. So I think somebody got a talking to.
Wow. That's ridiculous.
It's a big chunk. It hurts.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I have, good customers where they might miss, I don't know if they miss it sometimes, but I just miss it. And maybe it's like 9 months back for like $20. And I'm like, I just really don't feel like chasing them down for 20. I had that come up. My CPA contacted me and they said, all right, there's like this $20 job. We don't really know what went on with payment. I was like, just like,
market a loss.
Whatever you got to do to just make it go away. I'll pay the taxes on it, make it part of whatever. I just don't care. Like that's not something I want to track down, but it is good to make sure to have your customers understand that's not okay at the same time. So some good questions though came up while we're talking. It's Kev Dog. How do you deal with corporate storefronts? I hate sending invoices and waiting for payment, but it seems that's the way they like to do it. And you're exactly right. You just have to send an invoice, and then usually, that's something I usually used to see by check. And that was it. And you kind of just waited it out. But corporate usually always took long. I remember doing a corporate job for this large tech company, and we just did hard water removal. It was a one-time off job. It took 90 days to get paid. Every time we contacted them, they were like, it takes 90 days. That's just what it is. And boom, on the 90th day, there was a check in the mail. But it was just like,
how does anything take 90 days?
Just, you got to think about these huge I don't know. That's a good point, but I don't know how to answer that.
Like, literally, doesn't the piece of paper have to get to accounting? 30 days, okay, that's one cycle if they do a billing cycle. But 90 days, like, come on.
That's long. It's a long time. But yeah, storefronts, though, you can have a lot of different ways that you deal with corporate. Did you ever have to do the phone in?
Yes, that was a lot for Nest.
If you've ever had to do the phone in, what was it? That was the way that you said you phoned in when you got there to clock in, and then you would phone out to clock out
from their phone, so that their number.
Yes.
That was back when there was like office numbers. I don't know that there even is anymore.
I wonder if that's still a thing.
I don't know. I stopped doing work for Nest. I have not done a Nest job for probably 10 years. If you think about how long ago, I haven't owned a window cleaning business in like 6 years now, like legally. Well, I haven't done anything in a window cleaning business for that long. So it's like, it's been a really long time. So I don't know.
It's still a thing. Elite window cleaning services. It's still a thing. And every time you did it, it was wrong. Or every time you put the code in, that's not a right code. All right. Can you just sign this and then we'll send this? It was very frustrating.
And it's just like, the only reason you're doing this is because you don't trust me. And I get that they do a bunch of stuff, but man, does it drive you nuts.
Now it's a check-in on the app. Man, that would be a lot nicer.
Except for now you have 1,000 apps because you go to every different store. You got the, McDonald's app.
Secret app. Big Mike's got that one on his phone. That's for sure. Let's see here. What was some other good question? Wavy's life, switch out the rubber question or clips on the end question. I wasn't sure what this meant. You said at Ben, but maybe ask that question again.
I think somebody was asking.
Oh, okay. And then
I have one for you. How about Jason Thomas?
Yeah.
Thoughts on the UK Liquidator G7RU?
What does that mean?
I don't know. Is there a UK? What's your thoughts on the Liquidator?
I hate the Liquidator, man. I hate it. I really don't like it. That is a channel.
You don't like? It's not the accelerator itself. It's just the channel. You're not a fan of the channel.
I like the handle. I like the flick pad. I like everything else about it. And like back in 2014, when I first got to test like some of the first original ones, I got Liquidator channels with white clips because I was able to test like the first ones ever. And from the moment I had them, they just didn't work great. And they're just so fragile. And people always come on my channel and say, oh, work smarter, not harder, get a Liquidator. I just don't care. I don't care what anyone has to say about it, because my biggest thing that it does is it just leaves rainbow everywhere, because those clips that go down on the rubber so hard, the littlest bit of force, it has no flex in that rubber.
Yeah.
So like, I know there's people out there that use them well. And that's what I always say to people is like, hey, if you want to use it, use it. Like, don't pay attention to what I have to say about it, because everybody likes something different. But if you like on my channel nowadays, like 4 years ago, I may got into an argument with someone about like, you know, Liquidator versus whatever. But nowadays there's just like comment after comment after comment all the time. Why do you choose that? Why do you choose that? And now I really don't answer it, because it's like, it's all based on what you like. And it's not, you know, like I can have my full opinion about it, but it really doesn't matter. I think I'm probably like a little bit heavy handed, so that might have an effect on it, but I don't know, man.
It's Ford Chevy. Like, it's people that argue about those. One loves one and one hates the other, and it's the same thing. Like, you have to find what you like. I hate wagtail. I like people are like, oh, which wagtail do you like? None. No, I mean, which one would you recommend? None. Never. Yeah. It feels like 1980s vacuum cleaner parts. Like, I don't like it. But there's people out there who still use it.
Yeah. See, but you know, it's just, to me, it takes too long to set the rubber. You have to have the rubber set perfectly. You have to have your solution perfectly. There's just so many things. And so I think what 7 equaled was the guru. So if Jason, if you've watched this channel for a long time, there are probably the 2 people that dislike me the most are those exact people in the UK, because I will not make videos about it talking about how good it is. And that's the God honest truth. And that's why they don't like me. And they've expressed that to me. So it's like, it's so weird, because it doesn't matter. And it's just, you know, I could go on for hours about it because of how frustrating for years it's been, but I don't care at the same time.
You know, if you ever think that everybody's using the same thing, there's people out there, this is no joke, no exaggeration, there are people out there using 2 clips in a channel. And it's like, I mean, how can people like that even exist? So, you know, there's those people.
It's crazy. I know.
Those are the same people who are working on Sundays. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Idiots. Oh, it's complete idiots. But if you don't use 2 clips, are you professional? We don't even know. Let's see
it's
here.
The dumbest thing that we do ever is the 2 clip thing. You'll do some other post. You'll be like, oh, man, it's really sunny out. Have a great day, guys. And people will be like, #1 clip. You're like, yeah.
Why do you have to go into this all the time? Let's go on to better questions than the Liquidator. Not that wasn't a good question, Jason. It's just, if you look on my channel, you'll see just history about it. Nick Wazda, what do you do? What do you do for residential clients who refer you?
Huh? I high five them. Listen, I'm going to be honest here, and everybody who's watching and listening, you can completely tell me I'm an idiot in the comments. Not you, Jacob. He, of course, will tell me that anyway. But no one really cares about the little perks you give them. So, like, oh, we got a customer referral program. No one cares. Like, oh, hey, if you give us these people, we'll give you. No one cares. They would rather do something because they're doing something nice than getting something kind of like a referral bonus or something. So I never did any of that. Like, no one, it's like, you know, when you say, oh, anybody who books this month is going to, 10% of our profits will go to this charity. That's awesome. If that's something you want to do and it feels good to you, but it's not going to make anybody actually be like, well, I didn't want my windows clean, but if 10% of my profits go to, like, no one does that. It's just a feel good thing.
Yeah.
That was a rant, but it's one of those things.
I would have to say, add on to that too, that I, over the years, have only had a few customers ever say, hey, Jane Doe, I referred her to you. Anything you can do about that? I'll give you 10% off. I'll give you 10% off today.
If somebody asks me, I totally will. Like, if somebody refers me a client, like somebody through windowcleaner.com, window cleaner resource, they'll like, hey, I sent you Tom Smith. He called you, and I remember talking to Tom, and Tom was like, "Oh yeah, Steve sent you over to me. Steve said you're." I will like send out gift certificates to like Starbucks and things like that, little things. But I never tell people like, "Hey, send me somebody, and I'll give you this." But if I get it, then it's me wanting to do something nice for those people.
Yeah, and I'll add on to this because Nick just asked this question. Do you ask clients to refer you, or do you just hope they do? I would say I never ask. It's just more of something that they usually do. Or at the end, it's pretty noticeable, I think, for everybody when they say, hey, do you have like 5-6 business cards that I could pass out? Like that's a good thing that I always see. And then, then all of a sudden you get contacted by a few of their neighbors. And then, yeah.
Yeah, I am completely opposite. Every single person that I ever touch Windows to, I will say, hey, we're a small company and we thrive on referrals. So if you know anybody or anybody brings it up, make sure to mention us. We would love the opportunity. I'll say it to everybody. That little blurb right there, it just allows people to be like, oh, I could totally. Same thing with Windows. I always tell people like on the podcast, for anybody who's ever seen it, I'm always like, hey, you want to give me like a virtual high five? Put your orders in through me. Like that little blurb just allows people to be like, hey, that's what this dude does. I could put an order in through Jersey and make his day, So I will always bring it up, but I don't bonus people for it usually.
Yeah. I don't have to bring it up. Anyways, on to the next one. I'm joking. Totally joking.
All of us can be as busy as you, Steve.
Yeah. Hey, you want to hear something crazy?
Yes.
Sold my Transit this weekend.
Did you really?
Yeah. It's gone.
Was it a good deal?
It was a great deal. Yep. Made money on it.
So smart.
Made money on it.
So good. You had a truck, like a truck and a Transit just for it to sit there?
Yep. And so now my ladder rack comes tomorrow for the truck. I'm going to mount that thing up and then work out of there. But yeah, I mean, I went in, they didn't even talk about removing the stickers or anything. They're like, we'll take it. Fine. Like they were like all over it.
So great.
This Jacob, why did I sell the Transit? Was because about a month ago, I was just online, just cruising, looking at cars. And all of a sudden I saw that a 2020 Transit was selling for $40,000. Where when I bought my Transit, I bought it for about 25 brand new. So I have a Chevy Silverado, and because I only work about 2-3 days max out of the week on Windows, I wasn't using that for what we originally planned either. So I said, all right, get rid of a payment, which just felt smart, to be quite honest. And with what I'm doing with my business right now, it was a smart deal to do. But made back all the money that I spent on it. Of course, not all the money I'm going to make back, gas and everything, right? But man, it was just one of those things where it also was kind of like a personal win in that, like, with a car like that, to be able to make money.
You get paid to drive it.
Exactly. So it was like, if I can do this, like, why not? Like, why wouldn't I do it? So I did that, switching over to Silverado. Silverado is a great truck to do it. So it's kind of fun. I'm going to get some just decals done down on that too. And
there's not a lot of one-man shows out there that have multiple vehicles they can just pick and choose. Things got to be going pretty well for that situation to happen. So,
but it just felt too like a waste of money though. Like,
no, it truly was. Like a pickup truck. Not only does it work, it's still reliable. It's not like it's a 1989, truck where you can see the road through the floor. It's like, it's still, presentable. Your logos could be amazing on it. It can still turn heads. It's going to do everything. And it's a work truck. And you got rid of a payment. You got rid of the insurance. You got rid of the liability. You got rid of everything.
Yeah. It was a sweet vehicle. I have nothing bad to say about it. If you're ever thinking about getting a Ford Transit, even though they're going to stop making them in 2023, get one. So if you ever think about getting one or that kind of car, it is a very nice for window cleaning. As far as everything's low, it's easy to get your ladder rack off. It fits a lot of stuff inside. I've seen some amazing. There's a guy down in Denver, and he has a whole fill and go in there. Like he has a whole gutter vac in there. I mean, it's just you can pile those things full.
Why are they stopping? Like I thought that was like a super smart like mid between like an actual van and a car or truck.
So someone put this article out on Pro Window Cleaning. That's where I saw it first, but then I looked it up and it was true. The actual factory that they were going to have in Mexico make these can't make them. For some reason, they're not going to be making them anymore in Mexico. And I guess that was the only way that it was going to either be profitable or good for Ford. So at the end of 2023, they're done. Now, I don't know, though, if it is the larger transits or if it's just the Connect. I think it may just be the Connect, and that was the factory that was going to make it. But also in 2023, they were going to change the model a little bit with like what they were doing and like the same, what would you call it, chassis as like the Bronco and stuff. Yeah. So it was going to be cool. But yeah, they just decided to stop making them, and they're just going to be done with the market.
They're going to come out with a new, the new Mustang Transit.
Yeah,
they're putting everything under that. Have you seen the new Mustang? It's like an SUV, and they call it a Mustang. It's super weird.
It looks like a van. I mean, I don't like it at all. Yeah, it's weird that they would stop making them. But what's wrong with a 1989 truck where you can see through the floor? Yeah.
You can always stop. Like Fred Flintstone. I guess that's pretty good. Pretty good.
That's a good one. Let's see here. We have. Oh, here's a good question from. I'm gonna see. What did I miss here, man?
How about Pavlo Grease says, what's a good minimum price per pane? I always like talking price.
What's a good minimum price per pane for residential? Gosh, I think when you talk about minimum price for residential, you talk more about like just a minimum price, not really minimum pane price. So I would say that my minimum now is $199 for residential. Yeah. And then, gosh, like I guess if you're going to break it down to a minimum pane price, I would say $5 at minimum for like an outside only.
Yeah, like pane per side, like $5 outside, $750 ins and outs for a pane is like pretty much like not only average, but like there. If you're under that, it's because you don't have faith in your pricing, but you could be at those prices anywhere in the country. I'm 99.9% sure. You always hear those guys that are like, on my area, but then you talk to a guy that's in their area and they're like, what? Yeah, of course you can. That's what we charge. Like, there's always a expensive guy and a least expensive guy.
Right. Well, I had one of those moments I said in the last one where I was starting to get a lot of storefronts in an area, and all of a sudden I was like bidding, and then people were like, oh, yeah, please sign us up. I'm like, oh man, I think my mind's a little old. Like I got to tune things up, and I tuned things up and I started losing some. I said, okay, things are back on track. Things are good. That's a good thing to do. And then
how about Lewis Premier Solar Cleaning? Do you see that one?
Yes.
You had a residential customer for solar panel critter guard installation talking about, do you net 30? Have you ever had any homeowner tell you they're going to wait to pay you?
No, never had that. Yeah. Never had that conversation. Have you?
That's an interesting. I never have either, and that would be a huge red flag if they're like, "Hey, we're a luxury service. If you can't pay me right now, then it's not going to be a good thing."
Now, have you ever had a customer ask you, "Do you finance?"
Not in the window cleaning world, no. But we do finance at windowcleaner.com. No, I did have a lady that she would ask me to make payments, but I had done her forever, and she was literally the guy. This is a real story. The last time we went there, my guys called me and said, "You got to get over here." Blah blah blah. It's their last. We called him Rudy, but it's because of the street. And we get there, and she's like, "I'm so sorry," and their guys are sitting in the car. So I go over. She's standing on the lawn. She's like, "I'm so sorry." Whatever his name was, Al or whatever his name was. Didn't take his medicine yet, and his nurse hadn't showed up. So apparently in the morning, his nurse comes in, gets him ready. They do the bath thing and all that stuff. So he's up there butt naked, waiting for a bath, and she's yelling at him, telling him, "Al, the window cleaners are here. You got to get inside." And he goes, "I don't care if they want to look at my dick." And he's doing a helicopter at the top of the stairs. And the guys are like, "Nope, we're done." And that was the last time we ever did her job. He like freaked out. But she would ask, she's like, "Hey, I'm sorry." I knew she was on a fixed income. They were kind of like, scraping by. She's like, "Can we do like 3 months on this payment?" I'm like, "Yeah, no worries. Like, I don't care." Man. It was like a $200 job, and we just did her forever.
So and I'd like to see people's comments about this too. Have you ever had a client that you've just done for a long time and you just surprise them with a free cleaning?
I did that not too many times, but I've done it twice that I can remember.
Yeah. I've only done it. Sometimes for older people, you just get in there and you just feel bad, and you're just like, you know what? This one's on me. Just enjoy it, and that's it. I mean, it's not often that you like really get that because you're like, I want to make my daily total. But I think every once in a while, especially like sometimes like around the holidays, you're in a place and it's just like you're just in the good mood that day. And you're like, I'm happy with the year, and so
we had one customer would call us like every 6 months or so, but he'd only get his windows cleaned once a year. So he'd call and he'd go, "Hey, I just want to see how things are going. Make sure you guys are still in business." That's kind of his joke. Well, yeah, how are you, man? Are you good? Good. He's like, "I'm not ready for cleaning the windows yet. You know, it's not in the budget, but we're planning on November." It was just this old guy who his family was either gone or out of town or something. And every time we were there, I would go not clean one window. The guys would clean around me, and I'd just sit and talk to him. And that's what we did the one time he had us there, and he had said something, and this was a November cleaning, so it was close to the holidays and things like that. And I brought him a shirt, you know, one of our logoed work shirts, gave him the shirt, and I was like, "Hey man, this cleaning is on us this time." He's like, "Happy holidays," you know, like, "You're an awesome customer. It's just awesome to just have great conversation. I feel like, you know, I'm getting your wisdom every time I'm here, you know." And he actually did start kind of tearing up, but he just liked the company, you know. So who cares like what the price was at that point? Like that made my day, you know.
Right. No, exactly. There's something somebody said here that I kind of wanted to add to it of like, it's Kev Dog. I'll do a free cleaning for reviews every once in a while for friends. And you know, one thing I did one time for somebody was help them move a couch, and they wrote a review. Really? I've done that. They're like, "Can we pay you extra?" And I'm like, "How about this? Like, just go on Google, write me a review, and I'll help you move the couch. Like, I don't want any payment for it."
Yeah.
And then I'll probably hurt my back and all that crap.
No, now people ask you for moving. "Hey, is this SteveO's moving service?"
I did have a customer who started like treating me like a handyman in 2021. And I'll be honest, I just stopped answering the phone calls because I was like, he was like, calling me, "Oh, can you come over and take the gutter guards off? They're leaking." I don't really do that, but okay. And then that was the last time I went over there because they started asking, "Can you come over and move a couch?" That's not.
So
what I do.
So I had a customer that we do a couple times a year, but every time that we would go over there, we would literally plan it for like an all day. Like we would do like lunch and stuff after if it cut out short. We'd send everybody there, and I'd just show up, and it was a big house, so it was a heck of a project, all real cut ups and everything. But he would just literally walk around and go, "Hey, you guys want to do some extra stuff? Yeah, that's what we're here for." And he would just point, we would move tires for him and just the dumbest things ever. But at the end of it, everything you touched, he would give us like $50. He'd be like, I want those tires moved to the other side of the garage because that's where I'm going to park the car. $50. Like we would get done there, and every guy would walk away with hundreds of dollars in tips, and we'd have, you know, a $1,200 job that got done. It was just one of those, like, we just knew, and he liked it. So if they're going to make it worth your time, fine. But if they're going to pay me $5 to do something I don't want to do, I'm not going to do it.
I've seen this lately that a lot of people just do free mirror cleaning on residential, and they're actually advertise it like free mirror cleaning with your home. And I've never done that personally, but
I could see it. Mirrors kind of suck, you know, to get perfect for people.
And with the squeegee, I mean, they're cleaner than ever as far as that goes.
Yeah.
I want to get this question. Andy's asked it a couple of times here. I have a client that wants me to come back to put a few screens back on that they're falling off. It's been 2 months. What's the max time frame to go back and touch up a job? Ooh, that's a hard one with the screens back.
I would say, if it wasn't you, I would say, hey, absolutely, we'd have to fit it in, you know, when we're in the area, but putting a couple screens back shouldn't be more than like $40. I would literally throw out a dollar amount, even if I thought that they'd be like $40, because then they all of a sudden realize that you don't call, you know, a service, you don't call a painter and go, "Hey, just so you know, I was moving a couch and dinged it. If you want to come back and paint that," they'd be like, "Sure, it'll be $150. And you're like, "Okay." Like, then you realize it's a transaction.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to go about it. Fixed, done. Nick, we have so many questions here we've missed. I feel bad.
Ask him again. If you've asked a question and we haven't asked him, ask him again. We try to write them down to.
Yes. Oh, okay. It's Kev Dog. Do you send one bill a month to corporate, even if they're every other week, or a bill after each cleaning? I always did a bill after. If they did it like every single week and they were in a 4-week cycle, I'd send them at 4 weeks. And then if it was, that was always my limit. Every month at least, they got a bill if we were doing cleaning every month.
If my guys came back with a bill, meaning they didn't collect, it would get a stamp and put it in an envelope, because it was in an envelope, get it stamped and put out. So we'd send it every single time we did service.
Man. Were you ever worried about not getting paid? Were you paranoid?
Not really.
I don't know why it goes through my mind, but when I do hear people talk about getting paid after every job, I sometimes think about, were you ever, I would say it again though, did you have paranoia though about not getting paid, or was just more of that was the thing that you wanted for your business, was that there was just no question of that?
So here's the thing. I never understood. No, by the way, to answer the question, I've never been paranoid. I've never cared. I mean, if somebody stiffed me to be like, sucks that you're a horrible person, but that doesn't mean, but like no one goes to the grocery store and is like, okay, everything is $240. And they go, I'll give you 200 cash. Okay, what $40 worth of stuff do you want to put back, right? Like nobody's like, okay, that's $240. And they go, okay, cool. Just give me a bill and I'll throw it in the mail when I, get around to it.
Yeah.
Nobody does that, right? So in my brain, I'm like, you know what? When I run my company, I'm going to run it like a company. Like if you want something from me, sweet, dude, I'm totally happy to help you, but understand this is a transaction, right? And I do not want to pay, like I said, I don't want to pay more man hours to collect money that I already paid man hours on.
Yeah, I feel you. I don't know why I asked that because I have so many people express that same thing to me. And in my own mind, I'm always like, for some reason, I don't think that way because I feel like I want to trust people, but I know that's not what it is at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I totally trust people, but like, and I could totally be friends with somebody, but like if we went out to dinner and we split the meal, like you would, like, you know what I'm saying? Like even friends can do that. So in a business transaction, I still feel like it's not like I'm scared that I'm not getting the money. It's just like, oh, it's weird that you would think that you wouldn't have to pay me, right? Like that's kind of where my brain was. But everybody's different. There's people who take like down payments, which I never ever did. I've only taken a down payment maybe 3 times, and they were like just ginormous jobs. But
right, because that's something Chris and Alex did. I think was they would take a down payment for every single job before ever. I remember Alex saying that one time. I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, wow. And I know the company was huge, so it worked. Like it, yeah.
But here's the thing that people always forget is that you're the professional. People come to you because you clean windows like a maniac. You know what you're doing. So when you tell them, hey, I'm going to use this block of cheese to clean your windows, most of the time they're not questioning you because you're the pro, right? So when you tell them, okay, great, awesome, we got you booked for the 15th, and we do take $100 deposit that locks in your position for the blah, blah, blah. It's non-refundable deposit. Like if that's your process, that's what you do. Like if you go and buy a car, and in that transaction, they have what are those, the delivery fee. And you're like, nobody delivered a car to me. And they're like, this is what we do. No one goes, well, I'm not paying a delivery fee. Everybody's just, oh, that's what you do. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So it's like that in business,
Right. I hear you. I just want to get some of this perspective because I always just feel like it's one of those things that goes back and forth, And
there's no wrong way. It's your business. So like if you never want to do that, who cares? Like,
right.
It doesn't mean one way's right or one way's wrong.
Exactly. I love when people say cash or check, and it's like, cash, please. Cash all the time. It's perfect. Please. Let's see here. Oh, Nick, or let's go Glass Monkey first. Glass Monkey, what about the Pull-X Uni handle? It could be so good, but it's not. It doesn't stay in any pull tip. I even purchased a Mr. Engel pull tip that was supposed to be perfect, and it still spins. I found that the Unger tip was best. I don't know. I know you've probably tried that too, Michael. So I found that was best. But yes, it just was not a product that was better than anything else on the market when it came out. And that was the really hard thing about it. So I agree with you. It has potential, but they will definitely have to work on it quite a bit longer to get that thing better. Have you ever used that?
Yeah. Josh? It's surprisingly complex for something that just didn't hit its mark. And I love the company, and I love Kevin, and I love everything that they stand by, but there's just some products that come out and you're like, you didn't. I get this too with another company. I won't say the name, Flunger. And there's some things that you're like, you are just so far removed from the window cleaning industry that I feel like on paper it looks really great, and not one person has ever like used it and said this is a great, you know what I'm saying? Like some things come out and you're like, why is this a thing? Is this not like, you're so far removed that you just don't know. I feel like that's one.
No,
it could be a sexy tool though. When that thing came out and I hadn't used it yet, but I like saw it, I was like, oh, this is a game changer. Because it I mean, it looks clean. It looks like everything is precise. It just for a plastic tool looks really, really good.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. And it holds a lot of water. So that was the good thing. The flick pad, there are some good things about it, but yeah, it definitely just needs some troubleshooting, and it will be good.
By the way, one thing real quick about that spinning on a pole, one real tip that I used to do is I would take electrical tape and I wouldn't go like this the whole way, but I would just do like one kind of big swipe down there just so that, you know, it was like a 6-inch piece that kind of wrapped around my tip. And that was more than enough just to give it just a little bit of bite.
Yes, perfect.
I didn't put it on the pole. There's just the tip, Steve-O.
Yes.
Just the tip.
I get it.
Sometimes it slips off, but you know, you can put a little tape on there, just a little coating, and you put a cover on the tip and it does not slip off.
Just a little bit of grip and you're good to go. Alrighty here. And now,
by the way, is anybody in here still shocked that Steve-O gets so embarrassed about things? Is this the little things that he's giggling about?
I think if y'all hang out with me, you know, I just laugh at a lot of things. Like,
no, you do.
I just do. I can't help it. That's just who I am. People probably talk to me on the phones and like, this guy is an a-hole, but I like to have fun. I truly, truly do. So I like to laugh. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's fun. Nick Wazda, I've been struggling with rainbow streaks. Josh, something you never struggled with. Are you struggling with it? I've been struggling with rainbow streaks with brass Ettore channels and rubbers. Yes, using new rubbers cut with rubber cutter from WCR. Still getting rainbows. How to troubleshoot. Oh, man, that's a long conversation.
That brass channel could be bent. It could be as simple as that.
Could be bent. Biggest thing that could happen, like I've talked about a little bit on here. Let's see if oh, yeah, this side has it a little bit. Oh, I don't know if that's on there. But check your rubber here. And if this side is raised a lot, then that could be a good reason. Oh, and if you're using one clip, that could be a very good reason.
That could help you. Could really help if you.
No, that could be a big reason. Just saying. But check your rubber and then just make sure that it's like not raised or wavy or that your channel's bent. Definitely check that. Also, it can be like a mixture issue. Too much soap, not enough soap. I know that sounds hard, but I do have a video on it from a long time ago that can definitely help. But that is something that you kind of work through on your own. But better glide, making sure your rubber is pretty straight, making sure your channel is straight can definitely help you.
Let me ask you this. I know I've asked you this and I don't remember the answer, but when a rainbow happens on the glass, would it ever dry with an issue?
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
See, I've seen like, you know, do something and maybe have a little bit of like a glow in some windows if they're like real convex windows, you know, like nerve panes and things, but I've never had one dry funky.
Dude, it's like this. It's just it's literally.
By the way, while you're doing that, let me say one more thing. For anybody who still likes brass channels, it's cool. Do your thing. But brass is so much softer than stainless steel. People are like, I like brass because it's stronger than stainless steel. No, it's not. Stainless steel is one of the hardest metals that anything is made of.
It's the weight, man. It's that perfect balance of weight. It's just what so many people start on. They just
you could totally love it. I'm just like, don't tell me that it's raining when you're peeing at me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and then here's the reason why people like Ettore brass so much is that every other channel right there at the corner is rounded. Ettore is the only one that's square. And out of Ettore, this is the only channel that goes to a square and not rounded. So that's a little fun fact for you. So you have less detailing with the brass channel of Ettore than pretty much any other channel that's like it.
Yeah.
Facts. Here's a rainbow. This is what it will look like on the glass. I know it looks super strange, but that's how it will look when it dries. But I would tell you this. I only have one customer ever in my whole entire life mention it. No customer is ever going to say anything about it unless it's really, really bad. But it's something that if you are a little bit OCD, you will see it for sure, I think. Yep.
By the way, I love the questions. I love when people ask questions in here. The back and forth is super rad.
I feel like this is the most questions we've ever had as far as we try to keep this like log on our side of the questions that come through so we don't miss them, because the first time we got on here, it just got totally out of control. So then, so we have all these questions, but it's great.
Look at Lucas with the double rainbow. Remember that video from way back in the day?
Yep. The first time I saw it, I think, was on Tosh.0.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do
I
you know what
remember that
Tosh.0 is?
That was a great show.
Yeah.
You know, he's a really good stand-up person too, if you don't mind getting slightly offended.
Saw him in 2011 in
Did
California.
you? Oh,
Yep.
nice.
Yep. It was great. It was really, really good. He's awesome. Let's see here.
Oh, Jennifer. Okay, we're gonna get to the tax question because that was the next one on my list, and I passed that up. But is window cleaning taxed in your state? And it is different in every state. And I'll tell you, North Carolina, that's where I currently am. Wisconsin, no tax on window cleaning, residential, commercial, or pressure washing. But in North Carolina, no tax on residential window cleaning. But if you repeat the service, meaning that you do like a route job where you're coming back, it's then taxed. Super weird.
Wow. So you have to collect the tax.
Yeah, it's like a sales tax, like basically the same thing.
That is,
because you're selling. So the same thing goes if you stain a deck. Technically, you sold them something. So a lot of states look at that as going, you've sold the stain, you have to tax the stain, but not the labor. But then if you're taxing the labor, you have, like if you go buy windows, they're taxing you on that, but they're taxing you on the total, which is labor and the product. So there's a lot of really weird things. But one thing you cannot ever do is you can never collect tax if you're not collecting it as sales tax. You can never do that ever in anything. It cannot help you pay your own tax, your property tax, or your income tax, or any of that stuff. That is way illegal. And I know a lot of people who do that. They'll collect tax on things and they're like, we're paying taxes anyway. It's like, whoa. When you get caught up in that, you're going to be paying out your rear end.
Wow. Yeah, we don't have to collect taxes here as far as for any services. We don't have to. At least I don't know. So I've never gotten in trouble for it yet. This was a good question, Josh. This is a great question for you from Nicholas Jim. About to start sending postcards for fall. Is it reasonable to send out for fall cleaning early September just so I can start scheduling for the fall?
Yes, 100%. Because you have to get it in their hands before they want window cleaning, because as soon as they want it, they call somebody and get it. So like if they want it right now, it's too late because they're going to call somebody before your postcard shows up.
Yeah. So great time to start it. Let's see here. Nicholas G. Also, are you planning on making some videos of the truck build for the channel, SteveO? I do not know. It's not going to be the most interesting truck build because basically it's more of it's kind of a scaling down into what I just need to have. So I still have, my child's seat in the back, but it's nice because my Silverado, you can flip up one of the seats and you have tons of room. Yeah. So it's nothing like the van. It's more like almost going back to like when I worked out of my F-150, but it's just what's needed right now. And I'm just going to put I cannot pronounce this company's name, Thule. How would you pronounce that? Thule? Is that how it is? Yeah. The Thule, the rack company. I got one of their ladder racks.
It's Thule, but it's Thule.
Oh, Thule?
Yeah. How you pronounce it.
Yeah. So I got one of those racks. It's coming. And then I'm going to put that on.
Those are good racks. That's a good company.
Yeah. I might lie next to the back, but I don't even know why I would, to be quite honest with you, because the back of a truck. So it gets messed up. It's all scratched up anyways. But yeah, nothing.
Things from rolling around though. That's kind of the benefit. You put your bucket, it doesn't slam up to the front,
I always put my bucket inside the truck. So it's a little risky, but
really?
Why not? Yeah, it's just secure. My Unger 6-gallon bucket, it's perfect. It's perfect.
If you're watching, where do you put your bucket? I want to know because I've always put it in the very, 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 very back.
And have you ever had it just fly through the whole car, just water? I've done that twice.
Oh,
twice. Yeah.
Like locking up your brakes and it's in your back seat and it hits you in the back of the head.
Yeah, in my Transit, it has a really good like stop system. And I straight up, like I would have hit the back of a truck car and it stopped it and just water just went just everywhere, just all inside the van from the bucket. But it was good.
Better than crashing.
Exactly. Let's see here. Glass Monkey had a good question. Touch on hiring first. 1 or 2 employees. I think I-9 is the way to go, but let's discuss that process. Talking about 1099? We're talking about
W-9?
W-9? I don't know.
That's a combination of things.
Yeah.
He's in Canada. It's different. No, if you hire too many people, you light your own raft on fire. Like if you hire too many people, then it's new people trying to train new people when no one knows what's going on. Even if even if you're there, it just doesn't work. So hire one and then another.
Nice. Katie, the window cleaner. My tailgate opened one time while I was driving home. Everything came out to this day. I think how lucky I was, nothing was destroyed, and that I didn't hurt someone behind me. I had one time where back of Tacoma opened up, and I had my bucket on a cord, and it flew out, and it was just like dangling from the back of my Tacoma, my 5-gallon circular bucket.
Wow. I had one time, so we had ARE caps, which, by the way, if you want to plug anything, ARE caps are amazing. But we had the one that looked like a dog catcher. Actually, that's what we called it. But the side flaps opened up. There were bins, and they had like shelves in there, and then you would close the bin. Well, when the bin was open, if you were looking through the rearview mirror, it would only look here, and you couldn't see the bin was open. And one time they went down the interstate, and they called, and they're like, hey, can you bring us some stuff? And I'm like, what do you mean? The entire side they forgot to close, and every single item that was in both bins, both shelves, top and bottom, blew out on the interstate. It must have just been like the force of the wind going in there. So they lost everything from buckets to every towel to scrapers to extra blades to everything.
Wow. Looking up this I-9 thing.
It's weird. We're all not in compliance now because of that.
Employment eligibility verification. So I guess I'm confused by this one.
I-9. What does he say?
I-9 is to verify the identity, employment,
authorization. I know what he's asking. So Glass Monkey, I thought you were talking about how to hire them as an employee or a sub, but you're asking when you hire somebody, should you search them? I-9. So I-9 basically says they're a legal resident and blah, 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 blah. And I think that's what he is talking about. I thought I was reading it wrong. My bad.
It's Tuesday. It's okay.
I've never done an I-9. I never did anybody to see if they were legal citizen. Like, the truth of the matter is when your company's small enough, there's a lot of things like, I think it's 5 or less employees that they won't check and things like that. If you have a lot of people that you think may not be legally able to work here in the country, definitely check. It's better than getting caught. I always, I don't want to be the flag for any government agency. So I would if I thought so. But most of the people that I hired were, I mean, I've never hired anybody that I knew was from another country. Yeah. Not on purpose. They just never applied.
Yeah. Chris Corley asks, is Jordy still cleaning windows after leaving WCR? Yes, I believe so. As far as I know, he is still cleaning windows. So very, very good. Anyways, well, that takes us right to the ending of the show.
By the way,
yeah,
Just Jacob, I met him at the show. You saw him?
Yeah.
I met him. That's the first time I ever met him.
Really?
And he says, I never acknowledged him, and I acknowledged him. I even gave him a big hug.
Oh, man. We had a good conversation. It was fun. The show was good. It was a really good show. Seeing everybody there was really good. But I would have to say, I would hope that maybe next year there's more window cleaning stuff, or just it seemed, yeah.
There has to be another show that comes out that is just for window cleaners. There just has to be something out there that's more for window cleaners. Something that'll come out.
Yeah. Okay. Someday. Never know. Well, you guys, thank you for coming, guys and gals. Thank you for coming on. And let's see here. If we can, we will do one from New York. We'll see how that goes. And then if not, though, we will be back probably right at the beginning of fall for a show. So it's crazy.
We may, if I can ever convince you to, we may just like, by the way, Just Jacob was talking about how the show sucked. I just got another invoice from our trade show booth. They just keep charging us for things. So, but anyway, maybe we'll do a TikTok live one of these days too. We keep talking about that. That'll be like an impromptu, now time, just jump on type thing. So
yeah, maybe we'll do that when we're out and about in our adventures. We'll see.
Yeah.
If you guys are watching, please like the show. Please subscribe. Not to make that about. Not to make that to be all it's about, but if you've been here and doing all that, and then check out American Window Cleaner magazine. America.
America.
Yes.
No, actually, after the show was great for the magazine, and we have so many people subscribing, so it's absolutely credible. So if you guys do, go to awcmag.com, get some stickers, get the magazine, subscribe, because it's an awesome high five of awesomeness. It's like a big hug of greatness if you get a subscription. So.
And then let's see, because we've gone for so long, the next time we're back, we'll do another Tradpole giveaway. We did have a winner. I do not remember the name right now, but they're already sent to Tradpole. So thank you all for entering that. We'll do another one of those, and we'll start out fall with a bang. So we'll see y'all soon.
Nice.
Peace.